All right, before we get back to the news, I've got some good news and some bad news for you, okay? The bad news is that this show will not be airing on Friday, but the good news is that instead, this Friday, we are teaming up here over with Blaze Media with the family leader to host the first presidential forum of the 2024 primaries, and I will be there, which is why I can't do the show because I'm going to be in Iowa over there. Tucker Carlson's going to be there. He's actually moderating the forum with all of these presidential candidates. I think we're going to be doing some really fun backstage interviews with them. And, you never know what to expect with all of these people in the same place. But after Tucker is done asking the candidates the pointed questions everyone wants to know, Glenn is actually going to join Tucker on the stage for an exclusive interview just for our BlazeTV subscribers. So you can watch the coverage of the forum, but the interview with Tucker you can't catch unless you are a subscriber. So make sure to head over to BlazeTV. You can go to blazemediasummit.com. Use the code SUMMIT for $30 off. That is blazemediasummit.com. Use code SUMMIT for $30 off to watch that exclusive interview, which I will be watching and fangirling over. All right, so let's get to the rest of the news of the day here. So there was a piece that dropped on Axios, and they are talking about Joe Biden's aides, apparently, are complaining that he has a short temper and frequently expresses his frustration with profanity-laden outbursts towards staff members who fail to meet his expectations. They often meet with him in groups, they say, to diffuse potential tension. Can you imagine being so scared of a, 200-year-old man that you're like, please come with me. We need the buddy system so that we don't get too scared.
That old guy on Poltergeist was pretty spooky.
Okay, fair. And apparently some of his go-to attacks reportedly include phrases like, how the F don't you know this, and don't effing BS me. They also say that these outbursts might be a desire for accuracy and competence, viewing being shouted at by the president as a rite of passage. So being verbally abused by the president is a rite of passage. From the article, it says, in public, President Biden likes to whisper to make a point. In private, he's prone to yelling. Behind closed doors, Biden has such a quick trigger temper that some aides try to avoid being alone with him. Some take a colleague almost as a shield against a solo blast. And they say senior and lower level aides alike can be in Biden's line of fire. No one is safe, says one administration official. Biden aides still talk about how angry he got at Jeff Zients, then the administration's COVID czar, in late 2021 when there was a shortage of testing kits as the Omicron variant spread. The rage was temporary. Zients is now Biden's chief of staff. And a spokesperson for Zients told Axios, I'm not going to speak to what internal convos may or may not have happened between Jeff and the president. The White House declined to comment. But they do say in closing, if Biden doesn't yell at you, it could be a sign he doesn't respect you. Interesting. I'm sure they would run that same coverage for a Republican president. I am sure. That would go over really well if it was like Donald Trump allegedly is yelling at his aides, asking them how the F they don't know this and how can they be so effing stupid and not to BS him. Look, I'm sure the conclusion would be that that just means he respects you.
Well, I'm not going to say everything I got to say about this topic.
Well, why not?
I'm going to wax quite eloquent on my show after this one, and then I'm going to talk about it on Stu after that one. So,
wow.
Yeah, we're going to talk about angry old man a lot. And so I'll just say that Axios, when they wrote this piece, it wasn't a hit piece. A lot of people accused them on Twitter of this being a hit piece. They were actually defending Biden so that he doesn't look like the senile old man, but he looks like a forceful leader of his staff and aides and making sure that
but we have eyeballs.
He interrogates them to the point of really making sure that they get the point because he's smarter than everybody in the room. That was the angle that Axios is coming from. But let me tell you something, he whispers in private or in public, but he yells in private. I kick that old man's ass in private is what I'll do. You yell at me and pick you up by them pants. Toss you out.
He's probably only like 60 pounds. That would be pretty easy.
I'd whoop his ass. I don't care who you are. You're not screaming in my face those things right there. And I can't take every man, but I can take that man.
That almost seems unfair.
Yeah, well, I can take that dude.
Eric.
Yeah, you bring up a great point with the whole kind of run and cover thing, and that they're trying to take what in any other space they would consider as like an overall just absolute negative. And
they would call that verbally abusive.
Right, but they're trying to salvage it in some kind of way by saying, well, you know, it's a rite of passage, or, you know, this is what he does. It's just old man Biden being that. He's nothing. He doesn't mean it, or, you know, hey, this person also got promoted, so you can see that this doesn't really mean a whole lot. So that's always interesting when I see kind of that. But, you know, on the other side, I'm like, I don't think that he's in his right mind. I almost can't even picture him like doing that. Not because I don't think he's crazy as hell. I understand that.
Yeah.
But like, that sounds like a person that is yelling at someone that at least knows what the hell it is that they're talking about. So when they say something about like, well, when they don't meet expectations, I'm like, Biden doesn't know what the damn expectations are to be yelling at someone like that. Or do you know this? And you know, Biden doesn't know left from right, his damn self. So when I heard the story, I was like, I can't even imagine him actually doing that. So where's this coming from? I don't know. I don't really know.
Well, Biden was spotted enjoying a beach vacation with his family over the weekend. This is, of course, amidst the ongoing scandals. There's cocaine at the White House. There's all the stuff that Hunter's involved in. And there he is, very feebly trying to pull up a beach chair, and there's the view nobody wanted to see.
Got the strategic towel over that little old man Poochie belly.
And apparently, he has spent nearly 40% of his presidency on vacation, which honestly, I'm saying is a good thing.
They can't take Hunter to a white sandy beach. He'd have his head buried in the sand. He'd snort up he'd get down to the ocean.
I mean, I don't want Joe making decisions or handling.
I saw these clips and I'm like, where is he?
Look, he doesn't know where he is.
But all these people around, like, can you imagine Trump being on the beach? I know they got a little perimeter set, whatever, but like all these people, like nobody's even looking at him. I mean, you're not looking over your shoulder going, yeah, that's the president of the United States. I mean, that girl's over there checking her iWatch right there laying down.
That's a great point.
And I mean, it's like nobody even cares that Joseph Robinette Biden the 17th could literally die right there at any moment. Would you have your iPhone out?
Taking pictures.
Taking pictures. Isn't that human nature? Isn't that what we do?
That's actually a great point.
Yeah, nobody cares that he's there. It's just another little senile man who's shuffling around the beach. And they're like, oh, he carried his own stuff down to the beach. That was a thing. He drug a chair that's made out of hollow aluminum that doesn't even weigh a pound.
Yeah. And you're going to pat yourself on the back for that. Okay. That's how low the bar is.
But anyway.
Eric.
That is weird. I didn't even look at that from that angle to see that nobody really gave a crap about him. But yeah, in the same respects, I do agree. Like, if we can get that number up to 100%, of him not doing
vacation.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm fine with that.
I'm perfect with that. That's the preferable. And then if actually we could extend that to the entire Congress as well. I think we'd be on to something.
All of
the whole federal government?
Yeah, maybe the whole federal government.
And ours. I mean, if this dude has screwed up the country this much just working 60% of the time, give him the rest of the time off. And again, you got to forget that, you guys forget the 60% only, they're including all the 60%. It's still from noon till 4 and not on weekends.
Right. That's a great point. They don't want to overload them.
No, and that's literally what the aide said.
Right.
If you like that clip, there is plenty more where that came from. Click the link in the description below to subscribe to the News and Why It Matters YouTube channel to watch the full episode.